So today I'm going to go over 7 smart habits that help my wife and I save $10,000 without making life feel absolutely miserable. These are practical, sustainable, and honestly pretty effortless once you start building that momentum. And if you're someone who wants to take control of your money without sacrificing everything you enjoy, these habits, they can totally help you with that. Now, if you stick around to the end, I'll share with you a bonus tip that's an absolute gem. It's subtle but powerful. And it might just be that missing piece that makes everything finally click. So, habit number 1, don't save $10,000. Instead, I want you to save $27.40 a day. So, remember, by reframing your goal, you remove that mental barrier that stops most people from even starting. Seriously, $10,000 sounds like an absolute mountain for a lot of people, but $27.40, now that's manageable. That's the kind of small, consistent step that leads to real financial peace over time. That's real. Here's why it works. Big goals can feel absolutely overwhelming, but daily habits feel doable. They're trackable. So let's do the math. If you take $10,000 and divide it into 365 days, that's $27.40 a day, or $192 a week and about $835 a month. So I want you to ask yourself, can you trim $27.40 from your daily habits? A coffee here, a drive-through lunch there, a couple impulse purchases, and honestly, you're already there. But here's why most people still struggle. It's called Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law says that expenses will always rise to meet available income. So you get a raise and suddenly you're eating out more, upgrading your tech, even shopping more often. But your savings stays flat. It silently creeps in unless you intentionally set limits for yourself. So here's an actionable step on what you can do. I want you to set a lifestyle cap. Take a look at your current monthly spend, and whatever feels comfortable, I want you to lock that in for the next 12 months. Even if your income increases, keep your lifestyle steady. Now here's the important part. You need to redirect every extra dollar to your high interest savings account or wherever you're storing that 10 grand. By doing this, you make progress, but more importantly, you do it without feeling deprived. Habit number 2, automate everything with guideline-based rules. Look, if you're trying to save whatever's left at the end of the month, you're doing it backwards. Life has a strange way of always finding a way to spend what's left. So you need to automate your savings. Here's how it works. You need to set up auto transfers the day after payday. Automation removes the need for willpower and it makes saving default. Use personal rules like 10% of every paycheck goes towards savings. Get a bonus or a windfall, 10% goes straight towards savings. Make it invisible. Make it automatic. Trust me, you'll naturally adjust when it's out of sight, out of mind. This takes the pressure off and helps you stay consistent without overthinking it. So here's an actionable step that'll make a big difference. Rename your savings accounts. Call it Freedom Fund or Basement Renovations, or even better, Family Hawaii Trip. By naming your accounts, you're giving your money purpose. That way, you're less likely to touch it. All right, so before we dive deeper, if you could do me a small favor by helping me reach 1,000 subscribers, I'd super appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does go a long way to helping the channel grow by reaching more financially savvy people like yourself. And it allows me to continue creating helpful, thoughtful content that supports your financial journey. So to thank you, here's a picture of a ship. Now let's get back to the habits. Habit number 3, build an emotional bank account, but also a spend guilt-free account. Look, saving isn't just about the math. It's personal, it's emotional. And if you don't build a healthy relationship with money, you'll sabotage your own goals before you even start. So here's how it works. Every time you choose saving over spending, you're making a deposit in your emotional bank account. Now, over time, this builds resilience. But to make it sustainable, you really also need to give yourself grace. And that's why my wife and I each give ourselves $100 every month as a no-guilt discretionary fund. This is literally baked right into our budget as its own item line. This allows us to enjoy the fruits of our labor and spend it on whatever we want. No questions asked, no judgment. And if we don't use it all or just use some of it, it just rolls over into the next month. This is so important as it removes shame from spending and it keeps financial habits sustainable. It prevents burnouts, resentment, and those big emotional spending blowouts we all regret. It's intentional freedom. So remember, the goal isn't to never spend, it's to spend without shame and save with purpose. So, how do you reinforce behavior over time? This is going to lead us to the next habit. Habit number 4, use the future value formula. So, every dollar you spend today has a future version of itself. And when you start thinking in years, not just in pay periods, you begin to unlock a whole new way of seeing your money. Now, I want you to start asking yourself this question when you're about to make a purchase. Ask yourself, what will this $100 be worth in 10 years if I invested it? At 10% return, that's $259. So here's the math on a $4 daily coffee. That equals $1,460 a year. Over time, that's almost $15,000 over the course of a decade. Now, here's where my wife and I found a better way. Instead of cutting coffee completely from our lives, which is totally insane to think about it, instead, invest in a premium $700 coffee espresso machine. It might sound like a lot at first, but if you think about it, it'll pay for itself in like 6 to 7 months. Plus, we're able to make better, fancier coffee at home while saving hundreds of dollars every year. Honestly, the key takeaway here is don't eliminate the things that bring you joy. Instead, be smart by investing into the tools that pay you back. Habit number 5, do a budget audit and let technology do the heavy lifting. You may not have a savings problem. You probably have a leak problem. Remember, awareness creates control. Now, I want you to start reviewing the last 90 days of your spending. You're probably asking, why 90 days? Because 3 months is a good length of time to identify where your financial leaks are really coming from. The common culprits are usually food delivery, subscriptions, and even online shopping, just to name a few. Now, focus on plugging those leaks by cutting out what doesn't bring value into your life and relocate those funds towards your savings goal. So as an actionable step, I want you to use tools like the Every Dollar Budgeting app or the YNAB app to plan ahead, as well as find and cancel unused subscriptions or any other leaks. Alternatively, you can use features from your bank to round up your transactions. So at the end of the day, even finding a modest $200 a month, that adds up to $2,400 a year. That's already a quarter of the way to your 10 grand. Habit number 6, plan ahead or pay the price. The cost of procrastination isn't just stress, it's real money. So let's be honest, most emergency spending happens because something wasn't planned, especially when it comes to food. That's why my wife and I, we use an app called the Paprika Recipe Manager 3 app. Really rolls off the tongue, right? It's essentially a digital recipe book. It helps us save recipes, build meal plans, and generate grocery lists. Alternatively, you could use ChatGPT to streamline your process. But whatever technology you do end up using, I promise you, it'll cut your takeout costs and grocery waste dramatically. This also works beyond food. So plan ahead, shop off season for holiday gifts. Christmas always falls on December 25th, guys. Family and friends' birthdays are always on the same day. And back to school, it never changes. So by doing a little proactive planning, you'll save money and stress less. Habit 7, use the no spend and save instead method. No spend challenges, they're great. But most people, they forget to actually save the money they didn't spend. This tactic, it creates both habit and momentum. So how does this all work? First, I want you to pick a category. It could be anything, takeout, Amazon, clothes, whatever your weakness is. And now you're going to go 30 days without spending in that category. Then, every time you skip a purchase, transfer that amount into your savings account. Skip that $70 dinner, move it to your high interest savings account. Didn't buy that $50 gadget? Transfer the $50 into your savings account. So you see what we're doing here? You're not just spending less. You're redirecting those dollars to your future self. So if you stayed till the end, here's that bonus tip I promised you. This one isn't about another habit. It's about the mindset that makes all the other habits stick. Make saving part of your identity. Strategies work temporarily, but identities is what drives long term change. This is how true financial freedom starts quietly, from the inside out. And when you start seeing yourself as a financially savvy person, honestly, your behavior seriously changes. You begin asking yourself, what would a financially savvy version of me do at this very moment? You start to feel proud when you start making smarter financial choices. And you begin naturally protecting your future instead of just chasing the now and YOLOing. So, as an actionable step, I want you to build rituals. Start by tracking your daily spending, then weekly money check ins, and lastly, name your goals. I want you to use simple affirmations by constantly telling yourself, I'm financially savvy and I make smart money moves. Celebrate small wins like big ones. You owe it to yourself to say it out loud. I'm someone who makes smart money moves. The more you affirm it, the more you'll start to believe it and live it. Remember, tactics help you save once. Identities help you save for life. And that there is the real secret. Saving $10,000 isn't about cutting everything you enjoy. It's about cutting what doesn't bring true joy to your life and keeping what does with intention. So remember, you probably don't necessarily need to earn more money. You just need to be more intentional. And you're probably not falling behind. You just need a better system. And lastly, one habit at a time can completely change your financial story. So if you found true value in this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments below which of the 7 habits you're going to start implementing this month. So let's build financial peace together, one small habit at a time. This is Simply in the Black, helping you stay out of the red and into the black for good. So I'll see you guys in the next one. So if you want to learn more about how you can become quietly wealthy and the 10 invaluable lessons that I learned about quiet wealth and what it taught me about money and true freedom, feel free to click on this video.